Hello, and welcome to NeuroVoider. This is a twin-stick shooter that is currently in alpha, as you can see theoretically, if it's recording properly, by what is on the screen here. So, important thing right there in the middle, there's missing features like bosses, multiple environments, which is a thing, which is honestly the biggest problem is the multiple environments. I say biggest problem, but most noticeable lacking feature, let's say, is the multiple environments and the multiple bosses that then come with those environments. But having said that, it is quite fun. You can get it for, I believe it's about $10 on their website, which there will be a link in the description if you like what you see, I suppose. Have a desire to throw money at it. It's a twin-stick shooter in the style of basically every other twin-stick shooter. It reminds me a bit of Nuclear Throne, except it's got some mech stuff thrown onto there, basically. So it's got 4-player. It's only local as far as I'm aware, so I can hit this, and then on the keyboard I can also hit a button, which is the enter key, for those of you who don't know what that button is. I can hit a button, and then we can have 2 people playing right here, one with a controller, one with a keyboard. And I can add subsequent people, but there's nobody here to play with me, so we'll just roll with it. Here's your options. I'm actually going to turn down the sound effects and up the music. How would we do about there? Auto loot and playing solo? No. Screen shakes? We'll turn screen shakes off for now. There's a lot of screen shake. It's not like a Nuclear Throne style screen shake, but it is fairly substantial nonetheless, so do be aware of that. Let's go ahead and get started, shall we? So when you start the game, all 4 players get to choose a BIOS, basically, which is your skill, either active or passive. So you've got stuff like emergency teleports, slow down enemies, slow down time, increased fire rate, heal yourself and your allies, which is pretty neat. Shields to reflect bullets, push enemies and whatnot. A reference to Supreme Commander wherein you explode like a nuke when you die. All that stuff. For the purpose of this video, we will be taking Loot Fest because it gives us an increased chance to drop better items. So we can hopefully see some more interesting equipment. The game does loop, by the way. There is only one area, this is the area, but it does loop indefinitely. So here we are. The controls are standard twin-stick shooter style thing. We have a gun, and we have a pickaxe, or whatever style melee weapon that is. I'm gonna call it a pickaxe because it looks remotely like a pickaxe. Left trigger fires your gun 1, and right trigger fires your gun 2. In this case, the actual gun and the melee weapon. And because we have no active skill, that's pretty much it. Every time you fire, I'm getting this first round is always the hardest. Might as well pick up some of this stuff because it's a loot and we need it at this point. Every time you fire, as you'll notice, my EP goes down. That's basically energy. Require energy to do anything in this game, so keep that in mind and try not to blow it. Particularly, the better weapon you get, the more energy drain it will have. Of course, the more damage it does, and thus the less you theoretically have to shoot, but you do have a map. So you can see that this level is 5 tiles. It tells you how many tiles the whole level is. It just doesn't tell you what's in it until you go to the tile. What's inside of this tile appears to be a large quantity of things. This game does have color-coded loot, or whatever you want to say, so white is the lowest tier of loot. And then you've got all the way up to, I've seen blue, which I think is higher than orange. Melee weapons are fairly good throughout a lot of the game. And we've done that level. So once you max out the crystal bar, you can hold that button and go to the next level, which brings up this screen. This is your between level kind of customization screen. So there's different classes based on the equipment you have. Dash is the smallest and thus the most prone to suddenly exploding, but it is also the fastest. so do bear that in mind. Fortress is the slowest, but also the one with drastically more health. You can see that has 89 health. It also has way more EP. Generally more EP regen as well. So that's always nice. Now the downside, and something I think should be changed, but I'm not sure, you know, if it would work well with the game, but in order to use, say, this, I also need a core and transport of the same class. So I can't put on my new vision rangefinder thingy with a new fortress reactor and, you know, dash legs. It would be neat if you could do that. And then maybe there was just some sort of penalty. Like if I put a fortress core, because they're huge, on top of little tiny dash legs, there should probably be some sort of movement speed penalty that like drops it way low or something. But at least I would be able to have it. So here's what we got. Here's our starting guns. We have auto gun, which is just a bullet type weapon, and then cutter, which is the close range pickaxe thing. We picked up a handgun, a shocker, which is a beam, as it turns out, and a grenade launcher. So for the purposes of showing off different weapons and probably killing myself, we're going to use the shocker. It's a prophetic shocker, and the grenade launcher for this level. And it does change your little mech's appearance. I don't know what necessarily these things are called. Your little robot's appearance when you put on new stuff. Oh, it's this kind of weapon. All right, so this kind of weapon is actually, oh, right, grenades. All right, you know what? Just do that. There we go. This kind of weapon is something I got way later in the game. They're very difficult to aim. However, you can basically fire them perpetually and they do pretty good damage over time. To like generally 1 or 2 targets at a time. As you can see by just how easily it's killing it. The effect, that's a boss that just spawned, by the way. If you're wondering what that noise was. He's right there. Hello. Ow, rude. Bosses are basically just big mechs that get real salty about the fact that you exist and make funny faces at you, basically. As demonstrated by his faces. The effectiveness of this weapon seems to go down once you've started looping a few times, because really you just need huge, it's kind of like Diablo, you basically just need large AoE damage to kill everything before it can do something to you. Effectively is what you need. Now he's got a freaking shotgun. And you see the loot here, we got 2 yellow pieces of loot. We got a plasma hammer and a Gatling. The enemies do not drop the weapons they have, they drop random weapons. Again, that would be something that'd be kind of neat, is for them to drop. Like he had a shotgun, so it'd be kind of cool if he dropped a shotgun. But hey, so we didn't pick up any vision, we did pick up a core. It's another dash core, which is better than what we have, so we may as well put it on. I mean, we could put that on too. Gives us basically nothing at cost of recoil. I'll pass. So we picked up that shotgun. We picked up a poor plasma hammer of mother obliteration. I mean, sure. Protonic Gatling. Gatling's pretty good, but we already have a weapon that's fairly good at clearing out crowds with the little electrical gun there. So we'll take the, you know, mother demolishing hammer here. Doesn't look anything like a hammer, but it's basically larger than my entire little robot dude, so I'll take it. It's probably gonna suck up a lot of energy to use. That's not too bad, actually. It's quite large. I'll give you that much. I'm gonna be primarily using ranged weapons because I don't know about multiplayer because I don't have anyone to play with, but ranged weapons are my ticket to survival most of the time. Getting close to enemies is usually a death sentence, if you can help it. Here is like an instance where I will get up in there because that's going to kill a lot of enemies really fast. It will do some damage to me, don't get me wrong. We just went to a dead end. Freaking these levels and their desire to be long corridors full of enemies that I end up going in the wrong direction. Sorry, actually either direction was basically the wrong direction. That's a lot of dudes down here. This game does pull from Diablo a bit, because it does use a lot of individual enemies that are not necessarily strong by themselves. to basically try and overwhelm me. It's also got the you know, traditional loot fest ARPG kind of thing going on. It's a dead end. Hello. He's got nukes. He has a nuke. He had a nuke. I died. Let's do that again real quick. Let's go ahead. You know what? We'll pick a skill. Let's do Go Postal. Why not? I've pretty much always done the loot thing because having good loot helps a lot, especially if you can start getting good loot early, because it'll allow you to basically just start murdering things before they can do much, which is generally beneficial. Also, being able to aim helps tremendously in your ability to survive, which is a little bit hard for me sometimes, but hey. Oh, great. First we had dudes with nukes, now I have dudes with freaking missile launchers. We're actually getting really good loot this time as well. How do I even use my skill? E? Is it that? Ah, it's that. I made an angry face. Oh man, I wish I knew you could do that. I should probably like look up this stuff before I play. Oh, it takes energy to do that too. That's fair enough. So apparently you can dash. That would have helped tremendously when I was doing my like fortress run. I had a really crazy fortress that had a mini nuke launcher like that boss had, and then a multi-missile launcher, which basically just had a continuous stream of death pouring out of it, which is always good. So fortress there, we got a rampage and a fortress there, but we didn't get any transport, so we can't put that stuff on. Slightly annoying. Plasma sword of brother shooting, that's just rude. Got another shocker, ooh. I've not gotten an assault rifle before. I've gotten a railgun, and I'm not too fond of the railguns. Let's get the assault rifle. And that, because it looks cool, basically, is what I'm gonna roll with. Sure. I would at least want to show the boss off, because there is only one. And it's not necessarily difficult to get to. I don't like this layout. I also don't like how much energy the assault rifle takes to fire. When you run out of energy, it has basically a you overheated kind of cooldown system. Okay. Really not necessarily fond of our spawn location here. Freaking I just want to escape. Who's shooting at me from over there? You stop it. Oh good, there's more. I assume they all have that weapon, yeah. All of these dudes have a little tiny shotgun that does 1 damage per bullet, I believe, so it's not exactly dangerous in and of itself, but it fires several bullets, and there are many of them, so. There's also a big dude over there. Oh, I shouldn't have gone that way, because I made friends in that direction now. Oh good, he's a flamethrower. My favorite enemy. Flamethrowers are very dangerous. They're very tiny range, but very dangerous. You happen to get hit. Plus it leaves that residual flame. I don't know if the residual flame does anything. I just run the assumption that it does something. Oh, come on. Oh, come on. Hide. That's not hiding. I don't like this assault rifle. Not gonna lie. I mean, I could use my weapon with my newfound ability to dash forward, armored core style melee build here. That's about as effective as it is in Armored Core, I'm gonna be honest. Knowing that I can dash now, though, is really good. Alright, go ahead and teleport, because I think that's all the loot we're gonna get. The crystals or gems or whatever that you pick up do nothing except for charge the teleport thing, so. We need to transport in. We got fortress, so let's go ahead and build a fortress then, shall we? And that's technically better than what we had. And that is also technically better than, I mean, it's 20 more health for a lot less EP. Let's see what weapons we got before we get into that. I don't like the assault rifle, so let's look into replacing that. We don't really have a lot of choice here. We could run that. It's like a crowd control. And then just use that basic sword because it's got more damage per second than any other sword. It looks a little goofy, but hey. I'll take it. And then what was I doing? I was looking to see if we needed more energy or more health. I think we honestly probably would prefer energy in almost all cases. I like to be able to fire lots of powerful things at the same time. Now you'll notice, Fortress gets a shield, not a dash. This would make sense considering it's not called a dash. Alright, so now I need to find Rampage stuff so I can equip Rampage just to figure out what its ability is. Because again, I'll be honest, I didn't know that was a thing. I just thought, you know, I didn't think to push the button, basically, is what I'm getting at here. Ah, my sword is better than your sword. Now, the biggest problem with Fortress is you're remarkably slow. That's a boss. However, if I have a shield, I suppose that seems relatively good. Especially if it lets me just stay close to things that would otherwise be a great threat to me. I think we've already cleared out all the enemies, so let's go ahead and leave. The individual levels are usually fairly short, so do we have any... Ooh, we got a Rampage. Rampage, thingy. You know what I'm on about, hopefully. That's about all we've got, though. Not much in the good Rampage equipment department. And I don't think we picked up anything. Oh yeah, we did. Oh, we picked up a Beam of Corruption and a Fat Shotgun, which I'm gonna take both of those. So these actual beams are just straight up lasers. They behave exactly in the way you would expect them. Oh my god, the size of that shotgun. They behave basically exactly the way you'd expect them to. I will show you how they behave shortly, but you should probably be able to figure it out because it's a beam. There you go. Oh. And this is the shotgun. These shotguns are amazing because of how quickly they can rapid fire. I don't know if that's intended, but they're very powerful because of that. I can't fire both of my weapons very long, but also the knockback on it makes it a bit comical sometimes. Not exactly the highest single target damage. Ow. Well played. Not exactly the highest single target damage, but it can push out some, Oh. So Rampage just force fires my guns automatically at targets, I guess, until I run out of energy. Does it shoot all targets? Because that'd be kind of neat. Gotta use it when I'm like surrounded or something. See what it does. Like single enemies, it's not exactly gonna do anything except burn my energy out. He says as he then just kills a bunch of... That's a lot of bosses in one level. Whoa, buddy. Boss flamethrowers, by the way, are full 360. I don't know exactly why, but hey, it looks cool. Well, let's go ahead and head left then, shall we? We've gotten a lot of... Because so many bosses have spawned, so many champions, not bosses. It seems to just auto-aim my gun, maybe? Or just shoots? Maybe it deals additional damage while it does that? I don't know. I don't know if you've noticed, but I'm not exactly an expert on this game. I've played it for like, I don't know, maybe an hour. Thought it was pretty fun. I was like, hey, let's go ahead and make a video. I would like you to stop burning that wall, sir. This should give us enough crystals, yeah. You'll always get enough crystals to go to the next level as far as I've seen so far. This is an unknown bug I'm not aware of. I don't really like Rampage necessarily. Let's go back to dash, just because it's sometimes comical. Got a better head. We have better transport. No, we're not getting any transport this time. Giant fat shotgun of mother smashing. All right, well. Plasma bomb of perfect destruction. Now, plasma bombs are a bit hard to aim, but it does give me further range than a double shotgun system would do. So let's put that there, and we'll upgrade that shotgun to one with better damage per second. And now both of my guns are larger than my actual robot. We're almost at the boss. Now the boss is tricky to do without playing Fortress when you're solo, because you need enough health to... Oh, I thought you died. This is the plasma ball thing, by the way. It's actually a pretty cool weapon. Bit hard to aim because the projectiles can be a bit slow sometimes, but the damage output, pretty good. As it turns out, is not the direction I should have gone. You do, when playing this game, you do have to remember that your guns are on different sides of the robot, and the projectiles do come from the guns, so... Especially when you're playing a larger robot like a Fortress, you do have to remember that your guns are slightly offset from where your aiming reticule is. So when stuff is fairly close to you, you'll have to offset depending on what gun you're firing, basically. And because we are dash, we don't have a lot of EP to play around with. I imagine dash would make a great class for a player that has the ability that heals teammates, assuming it has some sort of limited range, which I would imagine it should. Please die. You have the best cover in the world, my friend, but you're also shooting at yourself. All right, hello. Now, eventually, much like every other game that has loot systems like this, you would probably just straight up stop picking up white loot and just, you know, restrict yourself to basically higher quality loots and stuff like that. Ow. This is the downside of not having a melee weapon. Stuff getting close to you wrecks you. And that's it. Alright. So the next level is the boss. The actual boss this time, and I recommend you have a Fortress for that. A Fortress with a melee weapon, preferably. Of course, we got new dash freaking stuff, but no new Fortress, unfortunately. Alright, so... what kind of weapons do we have? We got a new plasma thing, which does more damage. We got a firecracker, which I've never used, but it's a rocket type, so I know how that works. It's also a lot of damage. 780 damage per second. Let's put that on. Let's put that sword on. That'll give me the damage I require. Let's go ahead and do it. See how she goes. Hello. There's the boss. Say hello. You can actually start shooting it before it does anything, which is the thing. Oh man. The damage output. This is pretty much my solo play strat for this boss. There we go. Having said that, this arena is slightly different. And knowing I can do this is actually going to make this boss a bit more of a joke than it. Because this should pretty dramatically reduce the damage I take, so... You can destroy individual parts of the boss, so the actual parts of the boss that are firing bullets can be destroyed. Let's wait a second and see what this dude does here. I like how it makes just an angry face on my screen while that ability is active. I would like to actually blow up a part. I think I may have already done so. Yeah, I blew up his top gun, I think. His top gun. So you can see he only shoots the one gun. And this is what rockets look like, by the way. They're impossible to aim, if you haven't figured that out yet. Have I broken both of his guns? I have broken both of his guns. So he's actually not even a threat anymore. This ability with melee weapons, imagine double melee weapons with that ability. Just go ham, basically. Doing this without a fortress is basically impossible solo unless you take the thing that allows you to heal. There you go. We did it. Let's pick up the decent loot. We got a plasma palm and a plasma hammer. It's a plasma. And then at this point, it will loop. We'll do one more level and then we'll call it there. So there's our plasma hammer, there's our plasma bomb. Plasma bomb, obviously slightly easier to aim than rockets. We could go double plasma bomb just for giggles. Even though I'm pretty sure I can't actually fire that much per second. But hey, eventually you do get HP regen as well. Obviously, the further into the looping process you get, the better loot you get. Eventually you start getting some HP regen cores and stuff. Also, you start getting some astronomical amounts of EP regen. But then stuff uses a lot of EP as well, so... yeah, I can't fire this forever, but I can fire it a lot. Like a lot, especially when that ability's active. Alright, I wish we were a little bit faster, but hey. Every time you loop, the enemies do get harder. The boss just wrecked me. Yep, well, there you go. Bosses with mini nuke launchers and railguns are very... not bosses, champions. I keep calling them bosses. Dudes with mini nukes and railguns, which is what that guy had, are very hard to kill because they do so much damage at range. It's a bit crazy. This title screen reminds me of Metroid Prime, by the way, because it's got the weird... if I recall, Metroid Prime had some weird visual effect going on, but it's been a while. But anyway, this is a NeuroVoider. It's, I believe, like 10 bucks-ish on their website if you're interested. Remember, it's alpha, really early alpha. There's a lot of stuff missing, so bear that in mind. But it's a pretty cool concept. It's got all the base stuff there. It basically just needs more bosses and more places. Online multiplayer would be nice, but, you know, not everyone can have that, unfortunately. Either way, thanks for watching. I'll see you guys next time.